Sokoto State is once again under siege, and this time the situation has escalated to alarming new heights. Bandit kingpin Bello Turji, whose name has become synonymous with terror across Nigeria's northwest region, has launched what authorities are describing as a full-scale violent raid in Sokoto East. The notorious criminal leader has issued a chilling ultimatum to residents of Tidibale village, ordering them to evacuate their homes within 24 hours or face devastating consequences. This development comes just 1 week after Turji's forces successfully seized control of Barja village, effectively expanding his territorial grip in the region and sending shockwaves throughout the state. The audacity of this latest attack speaks volumes about the current security challenges facing Sokoto State and the broader northwest region of Nigeria. Bello Turji, who has been operating with seeming impunity for years, appears to be growing bolder in his operations, moving from sporadic raids and kidnappings to what now resembles a systematic territorial conquest. Intelligence reports suggest that his group has been significantly weakened by recent military operations, yet these latest actions demonstrate that he still commands enough firepower and manpower to terrorize entire communities and force mass evacuations. Tidibale village, now caught in the crosshairs of this crisis, represents yet another community facing displacement and uncertainty. Residents who have spent their entire lives building homes, farms, and livelihoods in the area are now confronted with an impossible choice: abandon everything they know or risk violent reprisals from heavily armed bandits. Local sources indicate that panic has gripped the village, with families hastily packing whatever belongings they can carry and fleeing to neighboring towns and cities. The psychological trauma of such forced displacement cannot be overstated, particularly for children and elderly residents who are least equipped to handle the physical and emotional toll of sudden relocation. The seizure of Barja village last week should have served as a warning sign, but the response from security agencies appears to have been insufficient to prevent this latest escalation. Barja, which fell under Turji's control after intense fighting, now serves as a strategic base for his operations, providing him with resources, shelter, and a launching point for further attacks. Eyewitness accounts from survivors who managed to escape Barja paint a grim picture of life under bandit control, with reports of arbitrary executions, forced conscription of young men into criminal gangs, and systematic looting of homes and businesses. The fact that Turji has been able to hold this territory for an entire week without significant military intervention raises serious questions about the capacity and coordination of security forces in the area. What makes Bello Turji particularly dangerous is not just his military capability, but his strategic thinking. Unlike many bandit leaders who operate purely for financial gain through kidnapping and cattle rustling, Turji appears to have territorial ambitions that mirror those of insurgent groups. His pattern of seizing and holding villages, establishing control over local populations, and using these areas as bases for further expansion suggests a long-term strategy that goes beyond simple criminality. Security analysts have warned that if left unchecked, these bandit groups could evolve into something resembling the insurgencies that have plagued other parts of Nigeria, creating ungoverned spaces where state authority is completely absent. The humanitarian implications of these attacks are staggering. Thousands of people are now displaced, adding to the already overwhelming number of internally displaced persons in Nigeria. These evacuees require immediate assistance, including shelter, food, medical care, and protection, but the resources available to state governments and humanitarian organizations are stretched thin. Displacement camps in Sokoto and surrounding states are already overcrowded, and the infrastructure to support new arrivals is severely lacking. Children are missing school, farmers are unable to tend their crops during a critical agricultural season, and families are separated in the chaos of forced migration. The long-term economic impact on these communities will be felt for years to come, even if security is eventually restored and people are able to return home. Now, if you're finding this information valuable and you want to stay updated on important developments like this across Nigeria, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notifications so you never miss an update. Your support helps us continue bringing you these critical stories that mainstream media sometimes overlooks. The federal government and Sokoto state authorities have repeatedly assured citizens that they are winning the war against banditry, but events on the ground tell a different story. Military operations have achieved some tactical successes, with reports of bandit camps being destroyed and leaders being eliminated, yet figures like Turji continue to operate with apparent freedom. This disconnect between official statements and reality on the ground has eroded public confidence in the government's ability to protect its citizens. Many residents of affected areas feel abandoned, forced to either flee or negotiate directly with bandits for their own safety, a situation that undermines state authority and emboldens criminal networks. The root causes of banditry in northwest Nigeria are complex and multifaceted, involving ethnic tensions, competition for resources, political manipulation, and decades of neglect. However, understanding these causes does not diminish the urgency of addressing the immediate security threat. Communities cannot wait for long-term development programs and conflict resolution initiatives while armed groups terrorize them with impunity. What is needed right now is a robust, coordinated military response combined with intelligence gathering and community engagement to isolate bandits from local populations and cut off their supply lines and support networks. As this situation continues to unfold, the people of Tidibale face an agonizing countdown. Will security forces arrive in time to protect them? Will they be forced to abandon their homes and join the growing ranks of internally displaced persons? And perhaps most troublingly, if Turji succeeds in taking Tidibale like he did Barja, which village will be next? These are questions that demand immediate answers from those in positions of authority and responsibility. The story of Turji and the ongoing crisis in Sokoto East is not just about one criminal and one state. It is a reflection of broader governance failures, security challenges, and the urgent need for comprehensive reform in how Nigeria addresses armed violence and protects its citizens. Every family fleeing Tidibale represents a failure of the social contract between government and governed. Every village that falls under bandit control is a loss of sovereignty and dignity for the entire nation. Let me know in the comments what you think should be done to address this crisis. Should there be a declaration of emergency in affected states? Do you think dialogue with these groups is possible or advisable? Your thoughts and perspectives matter, so please share them below and remember to hit that like button if you found this coverage informative.